Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. How are we getting on? Welcome back to Through the Keyhole, the series where we take a look at player camps from Fallout 76 to get a few ideas and a little bit of inspiration for our own. And we're going to kick off 2022 today with a look at some camps sent in by you guys. Okay then, so usual orders of business before we get cracking. As always, these are not my camps. These are camps that have been sent in by members of the community for us to have a look at and get a few ideas from. And if you guys would like to appear in a future episode of the series, do head on over to the channel's community page. Over there you can find a post with all the details that you'll need in order to send your own camps in and to appear in a future episode. And for those of you who have done recently, double check your sent emails, because I did get a couple where there was no link to the actual pictures of the camp in there. So if you've been expecting to appear in an episode but haven't done so yet, double check those sent emails, because I can't show it without the pictures. So on that joyous note, let's jump in and take a look at some camps today. Okay, so camp number 1 comes from Ramon, who has not mentioned what platform he's playing on, but this is a Brotherhood of Steel sniper camp and bunker. So we've got a few shots here. Obviously we're down in the Cranberry Bog. I do like the look of this one. It looks like a few things that I've done in the past, and I've seen no respawns do similar concepts as well. It's a nice use of some of the military pieces and the Brotherhood pieces to create a very on-brand sort of outpost for the Brotherhood of Steel here. I like seeing lots of details. I like the use of the workbenches just inside of the fences there, obviously enclosing the sort of courtyard out front. It's quite nice there. Lots and lots of little bits of detail. I like to see the fences here. They've got extra sort of bits and pieces shoring them up and making them a bit more solid looking. Generally makes the thing look a bit more complete, which is really, really cool to see. Got a few extra bits and pieces on the side there as well. I'm not sure if that's a siren on there or if it's just the searchlight that's on the power pylon on the left there, but that looks cool. It's a nice little combination of things there. It looks very, very good. Use of the power pylons around the corners looks quite nice as well. It blends in well with the wires and the barbed wire on the fence and stuff, and follows the line so it doesn't stick out too much, which is cool as well. So if we flip this one round to the other side, or at least I think that's what we're doing, we have an interesting little structure here, which is kind of odd, but I like it. It's a cool idea. We've got a tent inside a building, which at first glance doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but it is kind of cool. It's different, so I like that. I like the little bits of detail on the wall as well with the signs and stuff. Obviously, it's the player vending housed in here. I think I'd like the idea of maybe doing the same sort of thing, but with a bigger outer building and then using the tent as a smaller inner room. That'll be something I'll have to do one day, who knows. But yeah, that's very, very cool. Got the porter cabin on the side there, just providing those bathroom facilities and just adding a little bit more detail and a little bit more interest there to the build as well, which is always good. Looks cool. That's very, very different. Looks like we've got some cage lights hanging down the middle of the tent there as well, which is a good way of illuminating that, because they fit quite nicely along the ridge line there. So, heading inside the Brotherhood of Steel field station here, we've got a nice little outpost sort of monitoring station, I'm guessing here, and a place for the player to crash looking at the bed in the corner as well. So, we've got Commander Aguirre hanging out there. I like the combination of stuff that she's got going on here. We've got all the Brotherhood of Steel outfit here, the Special Ops one, I think, combined with a kind of, I think that's the treasure hunter hat, possibly one of the fisherman ones. But either way, it gives that kind of grabbed a hat for when you're out in the wasteland vibe. Keep the sun off, and it works. It's a bit more improvised, but it's cool, and it gives it a bit more character. I like that a lot. Nice use of the, what on earth do you call these? Consoles, I suppose? I forget the name of the pack, but combined nicely with Commander Aguirre's ally unit here, the little console that you build for her. So that works very, very well. And yeah, adding a few little office facilities, a few little bits and pieces of home comforts as well, just to indicate that somebody is living here. And obviously studying a super mutant in the tube here and examining the FEV, which all is in keeping quite nicely with the Brotherhood of Steel vibe. Somewhere around, we've got a shelter entrance that I can't quite spot. It doesn't seem to be in here, which would make sense given that it's the utility room, but I can't see it outside either. I'm guessing it's just tucked out of sight a little bit. If we head downstairs, we do have a cool little take on the Vault utility room as a shelter for our Brotherhood sniper that Ramon here has put together. It's looking very, very cool. Got definite Brotherhood vibes, but also with a bit more of a scavenged vibe going on as well. Looking back towards the exit from the shelter here, and it's nice. I like the fact it's been, this space here, this entrance space has been used and also sort of shrunk down a bit by putting walls in it as well. Gives it a lot more character. I'm not sure if the back half's been used or not. I think it probably has, the larger area. But either way, the results here are pretty darn cool. I do like it. Swing on round. Let's see, we've got some more consoles and stuff in here as well, giving it a bit more character. Clearly, they're studying the super mutant in its tube down here as well. It continuing their FEV research, because we've got a little observation window here, and I like that a lot. We're using the observation and combining it with all this super mutant inner tube, and a good bit of lighting up there as well to give it a bit of atmosphere as well. It's cool. Some access in the back as well if you need it, but I imagine that door stays firmly locked. But yeah, that's really, really cool, making it look like a little research station. I like that a lot. When we look further down, it's nice and clean, making good use of the space. This is obviously actually inside the back room rather than the entranceway looking at the floor here. We've got a few little side rooms here. It's hard to see what's going on in here. We've got a residential sign on the top right corner there that's obviously either an accommodation space or possibly a kitchen of some kind. I think from the next picture we're going to have to go with kitchen, but I like the little power armor statue at the end there and the use of that's the Tipsy Tom vendor set actually. It provides those, basically a worktop that snaps onto the vendor. But it works well for kitchen use and also for little display units like that as well, which is really cool if you're improvising them. So yeah, heading into what I think is that residential marked door, into a little kitchen diner area. Got the cooking station in the corner. I do like the lamp that's glitched into it there. It looks quite cool. Looks like somebody's souffle is getting a little out of hand though. Nice use of a couple of nice clean lockers there. Got a clock. The lighting is really nice, warm and cozy in here. Gives it a good vibe. I like the use of the brick wallpapers as well. Gives it that sort of underground bunker vibe as well, which is quite nice. Sometimes these kitchen tables that you see in the middle here look a little out of place, but they've managed to work it in quite nicely here with the spindly chairs and looking more of a military vibe. So military meets homely. It's quite a cool little vibe they've managed to get going on here, and I like the look of it a lot. So yeah, there we go. That's the last one for this particular camp. A very, very cool little Brotherhood of Steel sniper outpost in the Cranberry Bog that has come together quite nicely with some really cool bits of decoration and lighting. Okay, camp number 2 comes from Mr. Fuzzmaster, who has got another Brotherhood of Steel camp for us, and this one is just near the Wayward. We've got a nice little bit of flat ground down there, and this is looking really, really cool. It's kept that concrete vibe going on and managed to incorporate the tower in, which is really, really cool. It's hard to make that blend with other things sometimes, but the Brotherhood set that was added a little while ago, back over the summer I think, really worked quite well with that, which is cool to see. So yes, just south of the Wayward, this has got a lobby, power arm room, crafting space, barracks, mission planning room, and a gym. Looking at the Brotherhood of Steel camp, as I say. So you can actually see in the foreground of this first shot actually that you've got this, basically it's a random encounter spot, but it frequently is occupied by Brotherhood initiates and they're like hanging out on the road just near the Wayward. There's the barricade and stuff that are always there. It's a cool spot for a little Brotherhood outpost as well. It works well with that. Looking at the main camp, you can see it's basically built up around the tower there, with it being enclosed by the regular Brotherhood of Steel pieces that were, as I say, were added last summer. And it looks very, very cool. Got the Brotherhood flag on the top there. But yeah, it's a really imposing, sort of heavily defended, fortified sort of place that should hopefully repel super mutant missile launchers with all that concrete. But it looks very, very cool. Heading up to the front entrance. See, we've got a little bridge going over towards the entrance there. We've got a couple of statues out front as well. Got the Anchorage Wall Memorial statue there that goes well with Brotherhood of Steel stuff, as well as the Brotherhood Memorial statue on the left, looking very, very cool. Nice little Brotherhood medallion on the wall in front as well. And the laser gate goes well as an entrance in there. It doesn't quite fit with the shape of the doorway, unfortunately. But then again, neither does anything else. So what are you going to do, you know? Do like the use of the flags there. We could do with a couple of flags like that have Brotherhood flags on them, the floor-mounted ones, I mean, rather than the waving one up top. The profile looks quite nice with the tower behind it as well, so that's really, really cool. So, heading on inside, we've got a little entrance area where you can see we've got the market on display. Apparently, Mr. Fuzzmaster here still needs the cash registers to go on that particular counter there, which is going to be the player vending. But, once those make a reappearance in the atomic shop, few little displays knocking around. Got the symptomatic in the corner. Got to make good use of that. The lighting in here is very, very clean, but it kind of suits it as well. It's Brotherhood vibe, very military. As opposed to going for something a bit more cozy, so looks good. Hence the closed sign as well there, which I'm liking. I use that one on occasion myself, but I always put it open because I usually have my vendors open, so it does make sense. But it looks like we've got a couple of mannequins in here. Obviously one stood behind the counter there. I'm guessing this is another one with its back to us, with the Brotherhood of Steel armor on as well. I really do like that armor set. It looks pretty badass, actually. Definitely a cool set, but kind of a pain in the ass to get your hands on and to construct as well. It uses quite a lot of very expensive materials. But nice little vibe on here. Got a nice kind of military feeling. Flipping it around, we can have a look at the other side. You see the entranceway into the tower there in the center. See, and a side door here going up to the rest of the structures. As well as a few bits and pieces of crafting stuff for ammo mostly there, and a sash box as well. Looking cool. So looking at the power armor and mostly power armor room, there's a bit of crafting going on here as well, and a few displays as well to dress it up. Some heavy weapons as well. Makes sense for power armor. That's looking pretty cool. Got 2 Paranormal Stations here to repair them, and a couple of displays as well, both with Brotherhood of Steel skins on. It's the T51 and Ultrasight looking at the shoulders on that one at the back. Kind of hard to see from this angle. I like the little designs of the chalkboards and stuff. Those are also Brotherhood themed. You can see those sorts of things around Fort Atlas as well. So good use of sort of consistent design theme in here. It looks really, really good. As well as Brotherhood wallpapers as well. Flipping it around, you get a better look at some of the stash boxes and the displays and stuff as well. Magazines to instruct the Brotherhood members on various things they need to know about. Laser weaponry, power armor, and covert ops and all that stuff. Very nice. I've got a gas pistol on the wall there as well. Cool. So the regular crafting room over here, looking very, very cool. I like the use of the workbenches sort of sticking out into the middle of the room, dividing the space up a little bit. It's a trick I like to use on a fairly regular basis because it does look pretty good and it uses the space better than just putting everything around the walls. Not sure about the rat barrels personally. I think the Brotherhood might want to move those out before they become ghoulified themselves, as they're not really into that, but nonetheless, looking cool. Got plenty of stash boxes around, like the little Liberator lamp as well. I just like that thing in general. It looks cool just about anywhere you put it. Do love the diving suit as well, makes for a good display piece. It's not particularly practical to use in game generally, but as a display piece for your camp, it's really, really cool. So again, something I use quite a lot. I like the use of the rubber matting on the floor by the armor bench as well, and the weapons bench in the middle as well there. Very, very much in keeping with that workstation vibe. So moving inside the tower, on the ground floor I think here, we've got a sort of communal area and bedroom for the Brotherhood folks hanging out at this particular camp. We do need some more military-styled beds. At the moment, the only bunk beds we have are these wooden ones, and whilst they're fine, they don't look very military. They look kind of children's bedroom vibe, really. So they do stick out a little bit, but what can you do? And it's something I've run into a couple of times myself, and I'm not a massive fan of those beds, unless you're doing a children's bedroom, which actually I should use them in more often now that I think about it. But they do the job. They provide somewhere for the Brotherhood members to sleep. A few extra bits and pieces, decoration around looking nice as well. And a nice little cozy area to hang out, watch a bit of TV, chill out when they're not on duty. Looking good. It blends in reasonably well with the space available, so that's quite cool as well. So, heading upstairs, we have a mission planning room that was mentioned earlier on. We've got a couple of Scorched Beast heads on the wall. Definitely giving a clear impression of what the Brotherhood are about, along with the round table in the middle there. Looks good. Looks like we've got Athena wandering around as well, so someone's obviously decided to send her back to their camp when they've finished helping out Commander Deguare, which is fair. Looks cool. The Assaultron wandering around the camp definitely fits in with the vibe of a Brotherhood of Steel camp as well. Could see them wanting to commandeer such military hardware, so that makes a lot of sense. Definitely looks like a good planning space. So if we flip this one round, of course, we can see Commander Deguare's little workstation there, coupled with some extra consoles as well, just to make it a little bit bigger, make it fit in a bit more. Looks good there. I definitely like the use of that. Extending that console unit around a bit makes it look more integrated and less like a standalone thing, so it definitely blends in better that way. Super Mutant tucked in the corner, always cool. And heading up to the roof, we've got a little workout area up here. This is the previously mentioned gym, so we've got a weight bench there inside the tent. We've got a speed bag as well up the top. Got the satellite dish at the back, presumably communicating with Fort Atlas. Yeah, nice little area to get some R&R when you're not on duty. So there we go, a very, very cool Brotherhood of Steel camp. I really like the vibe of using the Brotherhood pieces that were added in the season over the summer in conjunction with that tower. It looks really, really cool and gives it a very unique look and vibe and is, yeah, pretty awesome. I can think of a few people who might enjoy something similar themselves. Might have to mention this one. Yeah, very, very cool. Very, very nice job on the part of Mr. Fazmaster. So, camp number 3 comes from Caboose 1337, and this is actually a camp that we have visited before. I should say he's playing on PC. Back in episode 18, way back when, we had a look at this little Red Rocket gas station that Caboose has built, and it's very, very cool. The first one was very cool, but it's updated quite considerably over the last nearly 2 years, I guess, at this point, to incorporate a whole load of new features that we've had added and bits and pieces that weren't available the first time round, in order to bring it more in line with the original vision, apparently. And definitely don't blame Caboose at all for holding on to this one, especially in light of camp slots now being available. But yeah, this is a really, really cool build. I'm guessing somewhere near Flatwoods, possibly? But I'm not quite sure. It's hard to tell from the pictures here, but either way, looks very, very cool. So you can see we've got the gas station out front, using the Slocum's Joe stuff up top there to create that kind of forecourt roof vibe, which works really well. They're obviously sat on top of an ordinary roof. Looks very good. We've had the Red Rocket vendors added over the years and since the initial build, I believe. So very cool to see those added in and being incorporated. They look good as gas pumps. Concrete tyres out front, perhaps giving a bit more of a wasteland vibe. Maybe it's been a bit fortified post-apocalypse, but definitely keeps that good vibe going. You can see the feeling of a Appalachian gas station forecourt going on very, very well there as well. Looks cool. See the Red Rocket incorporated at the back there as well, which I believe is being used as a crafting space and being built into the larger camp as well. So very, very cool build, this one. The gas station sign out front is an absolute must too. So again, a close-up look there of the forecourt. You can see you've got the pillar supporting the roof, which makes a great deal of sense, as well as a close-up look on the Red Rocket vendors and the use of the contemporary porches there around the store, which is an unusual choice. I wouldn't rush towards it as being very gas station-y, for want of a better word, but it does blend in quite nicely and gives it a lot of character, so that is very, very cool as well. Got a nice little hangout space there as well. Somewhere to sort of chill out while you're taking a break from your adventures. Very cool. And you can see sort of through the door into the... what is a combination of a diner and a sort of gas station shop, I suppose, in there. So, stepping on inside, you've got the Slocum's Joe vendor in the corner, which gives you somewhere to go and pay for your top-up, as well as lots and lots of bits and pieces that keep the vibe going quite well as well. A combination of Red Rocket and Slocum's Joe stuff going really, really well in here. See, the walls and the floor are Slocum's Joe stuff, as is the vendor there. But we've got a little bit of Nuka-Cola in there, liking the clean jukebox as well. That works well in this particular build. Often looks out of place, that sort of thing. The more beaten up ones blend in with most builds, but in this case, clean one's definitely the way to go. Got the diner chairs around there with the Red Rocket markings on as well, keeping that combination of stuff, tying it together quite nicely as well. And obviously the reds and the whites and stuff blend quite nicely with the multiple different sort of sources of material here with the Slocum Joes and the Red Rockets. It kind of pulls it all together really, really nicely. And the greenhouse walls across the front there, the glass walls, looking very, very cool. Definitely add a little bit more light and a little bit more character to the space as well. And when you have a look at it from the outside, you can really see the sort of inside spilling onto the forecourt, which is cool. Looks really, really good. So stepping behind the diner there, we've got a little staff area in the back, presumably a break room of some kind. Got the punch card machine in there, some lockers and a TV to hang out while they're taking a break. Like a nice little area for that. Obviously the laser gate at the back there seems a little high-tech for a gas station, but does enclose those staff-only areas quite nicely. So heading over to the Red Rocket garage, the prefab, which we saw earlier is tucked sort of further along around the back of the main forecourt. The inside of this is a crafting area, so we've got the chemistry bench there, a very, very cool looking weapons... No, that's an armor bench in the corner. I missed that one. I can't remember where it was available and when it was available, but if it makes a reappearance, I'm going to have to keep my eyes out for it, because that looks very, very cool. Nice to see a different skin on armor benches once in a while. It's one of the few variations that there are out there, and this one looks very, very cool. I like that a lot. So we've got the Paranormal Station in the middle, and the ammo crafting machine as well. A few stash boxes around. So flipping that around, we see the weapons workbench and the tinker's bench as well, and a better look at the power armor station, all of which blends in. We've got the Red Rocket markings on there, which make a lot of sense. Obviously originally used for engine repairs, now for power armor. And the symptomatic in the corner as well actually blends in with the colour scheme quite well, which is always cool. And you've got to have one somewhere these days. I mean, I suppose you don't, but it's such a convenient thing to have. I think most people generally do try and fit one in. I know I always try and find a place for one, as I do love having that thing in there. So, heading back inside, I think we're moving down into the shelter here, because somewhere in here, I believe tucked behind the laser gate, was the entrance to the vault utility room, which I think is what this one is. I think. It's hard to tell because Caboose has gone to great lengths to conceal the original room and make it full of character, and it looks very, very cool. Obviously, we've got the floating Tipsy Tom bar pieces up there, creating shelves on the upper level, which is very, very cool. A lot easier to do in shelters than in your main camp. That it can be done, but it involves a lot of faffing around, fiddling, and patience to persuade that bar set to float up in the air there in a regular camp. But down in the shelter, it's definitely advantageous. So I'm guessing that's what's happened here. Got a nice combination of the chemistry bench in there and a few little shelves alongside that cooking station as well. That works quite nicely. I like the use of the rugs on the top there. Upstairs, I wasn't quite so convinced, but coupling with the curtains and the red cooking station there, somehow it works a little better. A little more homely as well, this particular kitchen, which is very cool. Guessing the player's residence has now moved into the shelter as opposed to the previously existing sort of flat that was upstairs. So flipping this around, we can see we've got a living space through the back there. We've got a pool table we can see through the glass. We'll have a closer look in a moment, as well as a couple of vault doors as well, which makes sense given that it's an underground shelter. I do like that Vault-Tec clock, which I've not got around to picking up yet because it's usually pretty expensive on the Atomic Shop for a single item. But it is very cool and I do kind of want it as well, so I might have to bite the bullet eventually. Nice little bathroom there, simple but effective. Bit grotty on the walls, somebody needs to clean those up, and the bath. But there is another room that we do have a little bit of a challenge with some of the furniture. We don't yet have a clean bath. Everything else we've got clean. We've got a clean sink, we've got clean toilets, we've got a clean shower, but no clean bath yet. Bethesda, hint hint, wink wink, nudge nudge, all that. Yeah, very cool, functional, does the job. Looks like the next door probably has the bedroom behind it. Squeezed a few bunk beds in there. That's definitely looking like a tight squeeze. It looks to be around about a single foundation in area, this particular room. So cramming all those beds into that tiny little space is no mean feat, actually. So good going there. Along with, we've got the chest of drawers in the corner and a lamp on the top of it and a stash box as well. Looking good. I like the use of the space glow-in-the-dark wallpapers as well. They go quite well with the otherwise somewhat child's bedroom vibe bunk beds that we have available as well. So it all comes together quite nicely. And the blue wallpaper, the blue of the wallpaper, I should say, goes well with the carpet as well. Nice job there. Everything's sort of been well thought about and comes together quite neatly. We can see we have the gym stroke hangout room, I suppose. Games room, for want of a better word, because we've got the train set in the corner there, speed bag and the weight bench, along with a pool table, which is a bit of a contrast in items, but it works. It's a nice place to hang out. Flipping it around, you can have a better look at the shooting gallery there in the corner as well. So I've been meaning to use those at some point in one of my camps, but I still haven't got around to it yet. Eventually. We'll get there eventually. I do like those lamps as well with the fans on them. I think I missed out on those at some point. I'll definitely have to grab them. So the other end of this space has got a little fireplace and a couch in there as well. Nice little place to relax and hang out. It's a Fallout First wicker rug there, woven rug. Got the bar flipped around up against the wall as well, as it's cool, but you need quite a bit of space if you're going to have it the intended way around, i.e. the other way. Just because, you know, be able to get out all sides of it, it does need to stick out, and especially with the footrail around the front of it as well. Yeah, nice little hangout space here. All comes together quite nicely. And there's the reverse angle of it as well, as you can see. Lots of detail, lots of bits and pieces crammed in there. Yeah, it backs onto, from the look of this, the games room there. Wrapping my head around the exact layout of this is a bit difficult using photos. That's the one drawback to using photos over videos, unfortunately. Can't be having tons and tons of video files sent to me for numerous technical reasons, top of the list being storage space, which I'm always struggling with anyway. So here's a little crafting space that we peeked at through the door earlier on. Obviously we've got the workbenches tucked in here as well, along with the power armor station and plenty of stash boxes as well. Very jealous of that orange-topped Vault-Tec stash box from Nuclear Winter, which I believe is still available somewhere. I think you can pick it up from certain events, but I'm not quite sure which ones. Probably Project Paradise, I'm guessing. But I haven't had the opportunity to grab that yet. Definitely got to keep my eyes open for. I want that one. Yeah, nice little space, this one. I'm guessing this last corridor here is actually the way into the shelter, because I'm thinking the entrance space is actually behind the camera on this one, and then we've got the nice shot down the corridor towards the power armor station with the door behind. Everything's quite nicely framed there. Oh, we've got a nice little office space tucked somewhere down here in the shelter as well. Loving the details on this one. Got the sheep squatch hanging out. The posters on the wall look good as well, along with a nice clean fluorescent lighting up top, looking good. Got the punch card machine tucked in the corner as well. This is a nice little space, actually. It's very, very clean, which can sometimes be hard to pull off in Fallout, but I think it's come out quite nicely here. I'm guessing they're using the TV there as a terminal, because we don't have terminals that are placeable in camps yet. Again, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, Bethesda, please give us those. But in the meantime, we've got to make do with what's available. It does look good. Got the Vault 51, 52, 51, I think. Chair there as well. Looking cool. Fits with the clean vibe of the space as well. So there we go. A very long and involved look around a heavily updated camp over the last couple of years that we'll say we've featured before. If you have a look at the card in the top right corner, I'll link to the playlist and or the video so you can find that one. But it's episode 18 of the series that this previously appeared in. So Caboose has done a really, really nice job here, and it looks very, very cool. So, just 3 camps today as we're running on a little bit long today, so we'll keep this to a reasonable length. But massive thank you to everybody who sent their camps in. Really enjoyed having a look around these 3 today. Really cool to see how Caboose's camps developed over time, as well as looking at some very, very cool Brotherhood of Steel builds as well. Some ideas in here I am definitely keen to try out, and some stuff that has reminded me of things I was thinking about doing in the past but had forgotten about, so that's always cool as well. Good to get a little bit of inspiration, which, as I say, is the idea, and I've definitely gotten a little bit myself today, so very happy about that. Nice work on the part of everybody who's appeared today. Speaking of, if you guys would like to appear in future episodes, as I said earlier, do head over to the channel's community page. We are, of course, always open to new submissions. In fact, I've almost cleared my backlog there, so this is probably an opportune moment to be sending in a camp if you haven't already. If you've been thinking about it, maybe on the fence, jump in and do that, because you'll have a shorter wait this time, as I've nearly cleared the backlog. So, yeah, definitely looking forward to seeing what you guys have got, and I'd love to have more sent in from you guys, so be very, very cool. So, on that note, that's everything we have for today, so thank you very much for watching. I do hope you enjoyed. If you did, please do hit those subs and likes. I do very, very much appreciate it. Down below the video in the description, you can find social media links and the merch store if you're interested in supporting the channel in that way. I very much appreciate it. A couple of new things on the merch store as well, so you might want to check those out. And we also have channel memberships available via that blue join button if you're interested in supporting the channel through that method. And there's a couple of new details been added there, a couple more options added as well, so if you're interested in that, please do check that one out. You can always peruse the options before you progress, so I very much appreciate it. And do join us for live streams as well. We are, of course, continuing with Fallout 76 and playing something new as of next week as well, which I'm looking forward to getting stuck into. It'll be good fun, so do join us for those. But for now, thank you very much for watching, and I look forward to speaking to you all very, very soon.